Hello, this is Patricia, welcoming you to the 2221st edition of the Enfield Talking Newspaper, Dateline 9th of November 2017. Your readers this week are Kathryn, Marina and me, Patricia, with Dem on the controls. The editor was Phillip and the production and distribution team is Peter and Sandra. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon and Harry Breuer, and it's performed by Jean-Jacques Perret and used with his kind permission. The local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent and from the Enfield Council website and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. The lead story this week is How to Spend £1 Billion. Council asks for savings feedback after funding cuts. Before the news, the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning Monday the 13th of November are sunrise 07:15 and sunset 16:13. Well, do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. And if you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She's your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. And now, Kathryn. Well, before Kathryn reads the first item of news, I've been handed some very interesting feedback from a recent edition of the Talking newspaper from a listener who writes, I don't have a name, I don't know if it's a he or she. They write, Dear Talking newspaper team, I was interested to hear about the Edmonton statute fairs, where men and women seeking work had to carry the tools of their trade. Maid servants a mop, for example. I remember going to the Warwick mop in the early 1930s when I was 6 or 7, although I didn't know the origin of the name. My grandmother lived in Leamington Spa, and her brother had gone off to join a travelling fun fair, much to her disapproval. When the fair came to the Warwick mop, my mother and my aunt took me to meet him. A genial man behind, I think, a hoopla stand. He invited us to tea in his caravan. I remember the kettle boiling on a brightly polished little range and the boxed-in bed that he showed us at the far end. That's a memory from way back in the 1930s. It's good to hear a story of ours that's touched the memories. Now, Kathryn will read the first item of local news.
How to spend £1 billion. Homeowners are to be asked to help decide how to set next year's budget. Enfield Council needs to cut £35 million from its spending by the 2019-2020 financial year because of reductions in government funding. It will spend in the region of £1 billion on public services during 2018-2019. A lot of this money is guaranteed for services like schools and housing benefit payments, meaning it cannot be spent elsewhere. The council budget is being reduced because of national austerity measures. Another factor is the borough's growing population, which now stands at 330,000, but could reach 354,000 in 2021. Savings of £161 million have been made since 2010. Councillor Dino Lemonides, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Finance and Efficiency, said, Because of the huge amount of savings we have already found since 2010, there are no easy options for the Council. To give residents an indication of the scale of the challenge we face, the further savings that need to be found are greater than our current combined spend on cleaning streets, collecting bins and lighting streets. While we remain committed to finding new and innovative ways of providing services to minimise the cost burden on residents, the scale of the financial challenges we face mean efficiencies are no longer enough. We want to hear residents' views not only on their priorities for investment and reduction, but also suggestions for raising income to try and mitigate the worst impact of funding cuts and increased pressures. However, Despite the challenges we face, we remain hugely ambitious for the borough and are committed to creating a fairer Enfield, providing greater opportunities and stronger communities for all. Go to www.enfield.gov.uk/consultations for further information.
The heroes who banish the classroom bully. These pupils have learned anti-bullying techniques to keep their fellow schoolmates safe. 5 young people from Nightingale Academy in Edmonton are anti-bullying ambassadors. Sabina Duma, Marcelo Gomez-Ka, Zainab Sheikh, Rabia Maidan and Nicola Mikalak from Year 12 completed a Diana Award Anti-Bullying Ambassador program. They visited the House of Commons to congratulate pupils from schools around London for graduating from the shame. Tim Williams, lead coordinator in behavior for learning, said, "The team have been given lots of resources they can use, so they can deliver a variety of workshops in school, as well as go into our local primary schools to speak about topics such as staying safe online and cyberbullying." The Diana Award Anti-Bullying Ambassadors Program is a charity legacy to Diana, Princess of Wales.
Mixed reviews given for hospital survey. A hospital received mixed reviews in a National Emergency Department survey. North Middlesex University Hospital scored positively in reducing the time before a patient first speaks with a medical professional. However, of the 1,250 questionnaires sent to patients, only 236 were returned. This equates to a 20% response rate. From the returned questionnaires, the Trust scored in the bottom 20% on 28 questions, and no questions scored in the top 20%. Libby McManus, Chief Executive, said, "We're pleased that the improvements we had begun to make at the time of the survey a year ago have been highlighted in this report, and that patient experience has continued to improve. Our emergency department has been working tirelessly, and we're pleased that our recent friends and family test result show 58% of patients recommending the department. We're determined to carry on improving the quality of care for all our patients." Positive comments by patients include, "I found the hospital very busy but very efficient. They all deserve a medal. I couldn't have been treated any better. I was really looked after like royalty. I've been to this emergency department several times and have always found staff kind and helpful, despite sometimes they've been under considerable stress from the sheer number of people waiting to access the service. I have to thank the staff who were on duty that day. They really did a great job because I couldn't bear the pain. I was okay before I left the hospital. They should keep it up. Thanks." But less positive comments include, "It would be useful when going to accident and emergency to be told the expected waiting time. A 5-hour wait was unfortunate, but no one was able to give me an idea on waiting time. It would have been nice to go and get some food. I wasn't given any definitive answers about my condition, and my results were never sent to my GP. There was not enough security in the waiting area, as there were 2 people heavily drinking in the corner, which made me and my mum feel uncomfortable." Since the survey was carried out, the department has made significant improvements to services, and these include ambulance patients being seen more quickly by a senior clinician who can start treatments, including pain relief, much earlier, the front door initial assessment process being improved so that patients are quickly allocated to the most appropriate area to be seen by the most appropriate clinician, a significant improvement in recent friends and family test results, showing that increasingly patients are likely to recommend the emergency department. That was 51% in August 2017 and 58% in September 2017.
Project looks at women in industry. An art project in a regeneration zone will delve into the past and present roles of women in industry. The Heritage Lottery funded Enfield Making History, Women at Work, Then and Now, based in a workshop at Meridian Water, will culminate in an exhibition at the Dugdale Centre starting on January the 11th, 2018. Rachel Nee is studying documents at the Enfield Local Studies Library and Archive and the National Cooperative Archive, focusing on the origins of women's work in industrial Enfield since men's conscription in 1916. Rachel was selected to be Artist in Residence for 12 weeks, starting from mid-October, and will be visiting the National Cooperative Archives in Manchester to find out more information. She is asking for willing people who may have female relatives who worked in Enfield Industries to share their stories, photos and film. This material will be compiled into a small publication and posted on a new website called Enfield Making History. Rachel said, "Enfield has a rich and important heritage in manufacturing, innovation and industry. Women's roles within this were vital, but are largely undocumented. An underlying motivation for this project for me is to encourage women to enter what are perceived to be non-traditional fields, metal, wood and electronics. After all, history has shown it has happened before." The project is part of arts educational charity Association for Cultural Advancement Through Visual Arts, and not-for-profit building blocks work with the London Borough of Enfield to put together a community outreach programme for Meridian Water. Rosie Ridgway, who works for the Association for Cultural Advancement Through Visual Arts, added, "We are thrilled to have received support thanks to National Lottery, who are confident the project will uncover exciting new heritage about the valuable work women have done within Enfield, and support the aim to bring back the creativity, innovation and skills that were once central to this area." One woman who has already been interviewed is the daughter of Joyce Smith. Although she did not wish to share her name, she said, "My mum was born in 1923 and she passed away 2 years ago. My mum worked in Cosmos in Ponders End during the war, making valves for Spitfires. She went to work there when she left school at 14. She was 16 when the war started and the factory was taken over for war work. Cosmos was born one night and they all had to be taken to a different site by coach to carry on working." Councillor Ifa Orhan, Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services, Protection and Libraries, said, "Our local studies and archives at the Dugdale Centre are a vital resource for Enfield, helping to unlock our rich history. We are delighted that the information from the archives will be used to inspire a new generation of women at the Meridian Water development. The Association for Cultural Advancement Through Visual Arts runs artist-led projects that promote health, well-being and community togetherness. More details about the association can be found at www.acava, that's acava.org.
5 years of Film for Fans. A community cinema has celebrated its 5th birthday. Talkies in Palmer's Green first opened its doors to film fans on October 23, 2012. On that occasion, St. Monica's Parish in Cannon Hill was a venue where a capacity crowd of 40 watched A Man of No Ambition. The film is a pilot to a 6-part series about Ralph Hutchings, who shares his interest and skills in a plethora of diverse crafts. David Williamson, who founded Talkies, said, We would been running a friends film club in our own homes for many years and enjoyed the combination of social occasion interrupted by a film. We didn't know if anyone would turn up to our first public event, but the formula seemed to work for others, so we thought we would give it a go. 5 years on, we're still doing it. But our proudest achievement has been to reinvest any surplus money that we make into commissioning new short films from young filmmakers. 14 to date, with another 4 in a pipeline. And some of these films have gone on to win national and international awards, making Palmer's Green in its own small way the Hollywood of North London.
Mental health. Think outside the box. The UK's first 24-hour therapy service has finally arrived, and it's all thanks to TV presenter Anna Richardson. Mindbox aims to help people who are struggling to get treatment on the NHS. Anna, who presents Channel 4's Naked Attraction, says she decided to launch it after feeling frustrated with the level of therapy available to the general public. If you're suffering from severe anxiety, waiting 10 weeks to access any kind of service can be a life sentence, says Anna. The only other option is that you have to pay for your psychotherapy, which can be very expensive. Mindbox offers a much-needed solution between the two, making therapy affordable and accessible for everybody. The website allows people to talk to 20 therapists with different specialisms, from abuse to bereavement and panic attacks to sleep disorders, and they can do this either by phone, webcam or web chat. It's the first service of its kind to offer 24-hour round-the-clock therapy. Whatever time of day a person might need help, they can simply log on and start chatting. Anna, who's the partner of former Bake Off presenter Sue Perkins, has spoken openly about her own experiences with mental health. She suffered from anxiety for many years and says her maternal grandmother committed suicide. After finally resolving her own anxiety issues, Anna decided to train as a cognitive hypnotherapist. She says, I met some amazing therapists during that time, and between us we thought, there's such a crisis in mental health services at the moment. We need to plug that gap between drastically underfunded NHS resources and private therapy. The TV host, 47, has self-funded the project alongside 2 other trained cognitive hypnotherapists. As well as live support available at all times, there's an additional Mindbox service which gives users access to self-guided programs focusing on 5 key areas: general stress, social anxiety, performance nerves, panic attacks, and confidence. There are more than 40 therapy techniques that users can do in their own time. Each video focuses on a different technique, and once downloaded, users can play each video again and again. The team have already trialled the website with 50 volunteers and report that the feedback so far has been overwhelmingly positive. 100% of our users say they feel better after as little as 1 week, which is fantastic, says Anna. As well as the NHS, she believes schools and offices could also benefit from utilising Mindbox's services in the future. We're so proud of the fact we've got this resource now, so if you need help, you can get it, and it's affordable, she says.
Donations for dogs. A dogs charity is launching its appeal for gifts to give to orphans for the 5th consecutive Christmas. Paws to Rescue supports private shelter with food and bedding for stray dogs in Romania. For the past 4 years, its founder, Alison Standbridge, has been asking people to donate toys, colouring books and crayons for children, in addition to food treats for dogs. These are taken to orphanages in the Eastern European country and presented in carefully wrapped shoeboxes during the festive season. Celebrity animal lovers, comedian Ricky Gervais and TV presenter Wendy Turner are patrons of the charity and support the Christmas Shoebox campaign. Alison Stanbridge said, "We have poignant and sad memories of last year's Christmas appeal, like the 6-year-old girl who wrote asking Father Christmas for an orange, and the 10-year-old boy who begged for a Christmas tree because he has never had one." Historically, life for orphans in Romania has been horrific. But even today, the stories we hear as we talk to locals totally destroy us. Many of the children arrive at the orphanages like the abused dogs in the public shelters. They're scared, they shy away, they don't know how to talk, and they cannot be touched. It is the daily love of our amazing carers and desperately hard work to try to make these children normal. Romania has had a problem with stray dogs for generations. It got worse during the communist era in the 1980s, when people in rural areas were forced to move into town for work and left their pets behind. We work on the ground with rescuers to improve conditions at public shelters, or, as a last resort, exposing them on TV and social media. Orphanages in Romania have a reputation of abuse and neglect, according to Pause to Rescue. Dog shelter owners, meanwhile, are said to euthanize dogs 14 days after being taken from the street. Since launching in 2012, Pause to Rescue has arranged over 1,500 dog adoptions. Neutering and education campaigns are a large part of what the charity does in Romania. It has gained the approval of the Romanian Education Ministry for Education, materials aimed at school children. To make a donation, fill an ordinary shoebox with gifts for a child or a dog, with a label denoting whether it is for a boy or a girl or neutral. Send the parcel to, and then this is all one word, although clearly it's made up of 3, Pause, P-A-W-S, as in dog paws, the number 2, and the word rescue, so it's all one, Pause to Rescue, at Big Yellow, 12 Kimpton Park, that's Kimpton, Kimpton Park Way, Sutton, SM3, M for mother, 9QS. Alternately, drop the parcel off at one of the charity's drop-off points, which can be found on their website. The theme for dog gifts is healthy fish-based food for a merry Fishmas. Visit www.pausetorescue.com for further information.
Helping the homeless. A mosque has bought an ambulance to help the homeless. After reparation work on the vehicle, Palmer's Green Mosque Muslim Community, an educational center, will deliver flu vaccines to homeless people. Volunteer medics will be on board to administrate the medication. The mosque is waiting to hear from NHS England about getting vaccines. The mosque may need to buy vaccines themselves. For further information or to volunteer, email volunteers@handsinternational.org.uk.
And now we have details of 3 Remembrance Sunday services and parades this coming Sunday. The first is the Southgate Remembrance Parade, N14. And the times are 10:15, the Royal British Legion assembles at Tudor Way and marches from Southgate roundabout along the High Street towards St Andrew's Church. And at 11 o'clock, there'll be a 2-minute silence and commemorative event. And the Enfield Remembrance Parade, EN2, at 13:45, the parade gathers at the back of the Royal British Legion, Holt White's Hill, and Chaseside Primary School in Trinity Street. 14:30, parade marches to Enfield Chase Green Memorial, where the service will take place and the laying of wreaths. The parade will then march to Enfield Town Marketplace. And the Edmonton Parade, N9, 9:30 to 10:30. The parade gathers at the car park behind Edmonton Green to be addressed by the Mayor of Enfield. 10:30, parade marches to the War Memorial site at the front of Edmonton Green. 10:40, Remembrance Sunday service begins with introductions and the hymn. At 11, the 2-minute silence. 11:02 to 11:30, the laying of wreaths, prayer, hymns, the Lord's Prayer, national anthem, commitment and final blessing. At 11:30, the parade closes.
Festive music to your ears. A festive classical music concert is raising money for charity. Winchmore String Orchestra will perform at Winchmore Hill Methodist Church at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, November the 18th for Water Aid. Themes centre around the Nativity and music with nocturnal associations. Many different periods of classical music will be covered, from Baroque to 20th century America. Opening with the overture from Handel's Messiah, British composer John Ireland's Holy Boy will follow. Corelli's Christmas Concerto, Joseph Suk's Meditation on the Wenceslas Choral, and American Leroy Anderson's 20th Century Suite of Carols will also be performed. Tickets cost £9 at the door, with concessions at £7.50, £8 and £6.50 if bought in advance, while children under the age of 12 can listen for free. For advance tickets and further information, telephone Joan Bayliss on 020 8882 0351 or visit www.winchmorestrings.co.uk.
Everything you need to know about norovirus. It starts with a colic mentioned they don't feel quite right. In the UK, norovirus is the most common stomach bug, explained GP Dr. Roger Henderson. The virus is incredibly contagious and can be passed on through contact with an infected person or contact with contaminated surface or objects, he explained. You can also get norovirus from contaminated food and water, especially bivalve mollusks such as oysters, mussels, and scallops. It will bring you down fast. Norovirus doesn't take long to turn you into an extra from The Walking Dead. The virus, practical and extremely fast acting, it has a very short incubation period, and once you come into contact with the virus, it only takes 12-48 hours for symptoms to kick in. It hits the stomach first, but it's only then norovirus arrives at a small intestine that it really begins to multiply. This is generally when you start to feel the first twinges of nausea. You will suffer for 48 hours. At this point, you will begin to feel very unwell as your body's immune system twigs that something is quite right. You may experience sudden projectile vomiting and watery diarrhea as your body attempts to fight the infection. While this may be alarming in its unpleasantness, these are your body's natural target response as your immune system tries to flush the particle out of your body. As well as the dreaded toilet runs, Dr. Henderson notes that You might experience stomach cramps, abdominal pain, fatigue, and mild fever while you're contagious. The good news is norovirus tend to leave as quickly as it arrives, usually lasting 1 to 2 days. Recovery takes a while. At this point, you're probably wondering if there is something you can do to speed up recovery process. The short answer is no. There is no specific treatment for the virus, but to let the illness run its course, says Henderson. While the symptoms are not pleasant, most people make a full recovery within a few days. Both vomiting and diarrhea cause loss of water from the body, so you need to drink plenty of liquid to replace lost fluid. And additional medications such as Lopmidi can ease symptoms, while paracetamol helps ache and pain. You might be tempted to rush straight back to work once the vomiting quells, but Henderson advises staying at home until 48 hours. Staying at home until 48 hours after the symptoms have passed. Otherwise, you still run the risk of passing the virus on to others. Because it is highly contagious, the best thing is to stay at home and away from public places, including your doctor's surgery. There are ways to keep the virus at bay. So how do you avoid getting sick during the chilliest of season? Your best course of action is to practice good hygiene. Washing your hands after using the toilet should involve a good scrub with antibacterial soap, not just a quick splash of water before you run out of a bathroom.
Sharing the sparkle. Something to lift the spirits after you've got over the norovirus. But the latest sparkling wine from London's award-winning and only commercial vineyard is now available to the public. It's the first time that 40 Hall Vineyard and partner Capel Manor College products have been so easy for people to buy. Their 2015 vintage London Sparkling Brut follows on from the vineyard's 2014 vintage, winning the Soil Association's Best of Organic Market Best Organic Wine. Marissa Zappellini, chairman of the board, said, "The terroir of our London vineyard is unique. We have a south-facing position on a small elevated area of free-draining gravelly soil surrounded by London clay, and we have a particularly temperate climate, which we attribute to our proximity to London. Our 14,500 vines are hand-tended by a team of dedicated local volunteers. We believe these unique characteristics are reflected in the quality of our product." 40 Hall Vineyard produce their wines from their 10-acre vineyard in Enfield. Its partner Capel Manor College provides the land for grape growing at 40 Hall Farm. Will Davenport, a multi-award-winning winemaker, also works with the vineyard with an army of volunteers. Sarah Vaughan Roberts, the project manager, said, "The 2015 Sparkling Brut is a fresh, clean and zesty wine with satisfying acidity and a long, dry finish. It's perfect for Christmas drinking, but it will also develop well with aging. Our 2015 harvest was excellent, and this vintage is available in much greater volume than previous years, allowing it to be sold to the public for the first time." 40 Hall Vineyard also runs a mental health and well-being project. It organises ecotherapy outdoor programs to improve mental and physical well-being. Working with nature has been shown to have positive effects on people struggling with mental health problems and physical inactivity. 40 Hall Farm is a 170-acre organic farm. It's run by Capel Manor College and has a community orchard, market garden and veg bad. It says a veg bad delivery scheme, but I think that's probably a veg box delivery scheme, and also it has a farm shop. So if you want to sample this 2015 vineyard, you can go to the website. Their address is www.fortyhallvineyard.com, or you can also buy it by going to the Forty Hall Farm shop, which is open on Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can get more information about the vineyard and the wine by telephoning 07713 488 501.
Why it pays to start saving now for Christmas. And accompanying this article is the most sullen-looking pink piggy bank wrapped in Christmas lights, and he really doesn't look very happy about the whole thing. So I think saving is the order of the day. I think he's probably an empty piggy bank here. And the article goes, the festive season may still seem like a long way away, but if you're worried about it making a dent in your finances, it makes sense to start planning and budgeting now. We spent £452 on average last year on Christmas, according to research from Halifax. Standing at the top of the leaderboard of items we tend to splash out most on are booze, gifts and the Christmas roast. Women are more likely to spend more than men, 482 on average versus 419. Meanwhile, the Independent Money Advice Service, MAS, has found that nearly 1 in 3, that's 30% of Brits, feel pressured to spend more than they can afford to over the festive period. So, to avoid a financial hangover in the new year, here are some tips from the MAS on what you can do now to ease the strain on your wallet. First, set a budget. Work out how much you can afford to spend in total over Christmas. Factor in everything from food, gifts and decorations to social events like the office Christmas party. MAS's Christmas Money Planner tool, which you can find on their website, can help you to create your own budget and see how much you can save in time for Christmas Day. Next, you can keep track of what you've got coming in and going out. Putting aside a little bit of money each week between now and Christmas could soon add up by the time December comes around. If you want to avoid the temptation to dip into it, you could also ring-fence it by putting it in an easy access savings account rather than your day-to-day current account. Giles Martin, head of savings at Halifax, says, "To avoid a bill shock, it's worth starting to save now to spread the cost over several months." The MAS also suggests making a note of your spending, whether it's by keeping receipts or just making a note on your phone or in a notebook. This will mean you're more likely to stick to your budget. You can also simply take out a certain amount of cash each week or day so you know how much you have to spend. You could make snips to your spending habits. Free up more money by thinking about whether there are any costs you can either reduce or cut out altogether. Halifax suggests ditching your regular takeaway coffee, for example, as small savings can soon add up. MAS has a quick cash finder tool to help you work out where and how you could cut back on your regular spend. Switch to own brand. See if you could save a few pounds by switching to your supermarket's own brand on regular purchases, such as cereal or ketchup, or by doing your food shop at a different supermarket altogether. Who knows, you might not even be able to tell the difference. And finally, they suggest, have an early spring clear out. We may just be about to head to the winter months, but why not have a clear out now to make money for Christmas? And look into selling any old and unwanted items on websites such as eBay and Gumtree. It could even make more room for when family and friends pile round for Christmas.
pupils wow the crowd with lyrics. 4 Thorn primary school boys who wrote an award-winning song about managing money have wowed a Westminster crowd with their lyrics. Tyler Thiessen, Sean Johnson, 3 Basco and Owen Montag were at Gilead Primary School in Enfield when they penned "Money is for saving, not for craving." Now, in secondary school, the Fab Four reformed to perform their song at the House of Commons on Monday, October 30th. The lyrics included, "Don't get caught in the net of debt or you'll start having regret. Start depositing, stop withdrawing, so your bank balance will go soaring." They won £500 in vouchers for Gilead and £50 in vouchers for themselves after entering the My Money Week competition. My Money Week took place between June 12 and 18, which a personal finance educational group organized. Miss Linda Carrington, math leader at Gilead Primary School, said, "We had a theme week where the whole school took part in various activities. Some pupils were given a budget to manage for a week. K-Stage 1 pupils produced some money moment pictures which explain how money makes them feel in a chosen situation, and K-Stage 2 pupils worked in small groups to compose and record songs about managing money effectively." Councillor Arthur Orhan, Enfield Council's cabinet member for education, children's services and protection, added, "What a wonderful honor for these fantastic creative young people. Their song has a huge impact and is extremely clever. I'm proud that this quartet, along with their fellow students, have taken a step toward empowering themselves and learning about developing their financial skills to help them prepare for the future. This is yet another example of how our Enfield School are helping students become well-rounded and well-informed individuals. As part of our Fairness for All priority, Enfield Council is enabling children to reach their potential through quality education, skills and learning. Congratulations again to Gilead Primary School pupils and staff."
Colleges team up to transform lives. A further education college has merged with a group of centres that together will offer the widest possible range of apprenticeships. The College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London has joined Westminster College and City of Islington College in the Capital City College Group, underpinned by Capital City College training. They will educate around 37,000 students aged 16 and over in 11 sites in London and the southeast of England. Specialisms include construction, digital technology, healthcare, hospitality, rail engineering and science. All colleges have good Ofsted ratings and will continue to operate under their own names, providing the training for which they are known. Andy Forbes, Executive Principal of the College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London, said, "The merger of Cornell into Capital City College Group will create 3 strong, confident colleges and help each to grow, develop and thrive." The College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London is a fantastic college, and we are extremely proud that at the time of joining Capital City College Group, we're very much on top of our game, having recently been named the Further Education Choices Survey as the best college in England for student satisfaction and top in London for employer satisfaction for the second year running. Our commitment to deliver high-quality vocational training and higher education courses in Haringey and Enfield remains unchanged as we continue to focus on success as part of this new partnership. I'm optimistic that we will all benefit from this merger and, most importantly, that the students and apprentices we teach and communities we serve will benefit. Andy Wilson, CEO of Capital City College Group, said, "We're all very excited that the College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London is joining the group, bringing together 3 of London's most successful colleges to create an education and training powerhouse and a regional college for London, which will deliver exceptional benefits to local communities and businesses. All our centres are close to transport hubs, making them accessible to our students, adult learners, apprentices and businesses. As the country prepares to exit the European Union, Capital City College Group will be in an even stronger position to help to meet the UK's shortage and transform the lives of Londoners through innovative education and training."
Artist with Asperger's first solo exhibition. Marking 1 year of his creative journey, Escape and Return is Patrick Samuel's first solo exhibition. Patrick from Enfield is an artist with Asperger's syndrome. He returned to art after a 20-year break when he started his daily art therapy in December 2016. Patrick has embraced his neurodiversity as a gift rather than seeing it as a disability. He's found his voice and calling. Art has changed Patrick's life for the better, not least thanks to the overwhelming support of the community in Enfield. Many residents have helped him with art materials, frames and canvases, and local art fairs have provided him with a place to present his work and practice social skills, something very important to a person on the autistic spectrum. His first solo exhibition wouldn't have been possible without the support of the Dugdale Centre, the sponsorship of businesses both local and national, and the backers on Kickstarter, many of whom are Enfield residents as well. Patrick has produced an extensive portfolio in a wide range of genres and media. He is stimulated by bold, contrasting colours, intricate details, multiple textures, and varying shades of light and dark. Patrick is working primarily with pastels, graphite pencils and acrylics, but he also enjoys experimenting with watercolours, glass and oil paints. Escape and Return stands for Patrick's story so far. In his own words, "Art is my medium of escape. From the noise, the lights, the fumes and the constant stream of information. It's deafening and blinding. The pushing and the shoving, the race to get everywhere first and have everything now. I want it all to stop. Painting and drawing lets me soar past the planets, where I can let my hands glide across the stars as I say goodbye to it all, watch it fade away. And I do get that far, when I realise how much I'd leave behind back on Earth. The trees, the sound of laughter and the colour of sound, the colourable real, the mythical and fantastic. I realise how much I'd miss it all, how much I'd miss you. This is my return." The private view of Escape and Return on November the 7th, which was the first day the exhibition opened, has been chosen by Enfield to launch its bid to become London's Borough of Culture. And if you're interested in seeing some of this wonderful exhibition from Patrick Samuel, it's now on at the Dugdale Centre until the 2nd of December.
And now here's Marina, who will read the first item of sports news.
Youngster triumphs Bravos gym success. 2 Bravos enjoy success after being selected to represent the London region at the Great Britain National Team Gymnastic Championship in Birmingham at the weekend. Mason Elder won the overall individual title in his age group and has been selected to attend the British Gymnastic Development Training and Lyle Show. The 10-year-old who attended St. Paul's School in Richmond Hill was close to enjoying a double triumph after coming second in the team competition event. His 13-year-old brother, Blake Eldridge, a pupil at Highland School, also secured a podium finish in the team category with a third place, while he came sixth in the overall individual competition at the Birmingham event. Both boys were required to compete in wall, floor, high bar, parallel bars, ring, pommel horse and pathway performance program.
And now football. Borough set for the biggest Vase test yet against table toppers. Enfield Borough will play the biggest game in their young history on Saturday when they face Berkhamsted in the second round of the FA Vase at the Queen Elizabeth Stadium. The Spartan South Midlands League Division 1 side, who entered the Vase for the first time this season, having only been formed in the summer of 2016, have knocked out Canning Town 4-2, Woodbridge Town 6-2, and completed an extra-time 4-2 victory over Newmarket Town in the last round. Although Borough are currently third in Division 1, this will be their toughest test yet as they face a Berkhamsted side 4 points clear at the top of the South Midlands Premier Division and undefeated after 14 league matches. Saturday's game kicks off at 3 p.m. and admission is £5 for adults, £3 concessions. Borough warmed up for the tie by earning a comprehensive 6-1 victory at lowly St Neots Town Reserves on Saturday. The visitors made 2 changes from the side that lost to Broadfields United in their previous game. Richard Enin and Thomas Opoku replacing Henderson Brown and Solomon Nwabuoke, and the move was quickly vindicated. Borough took the lead in the 9th minute when Enin's cross took a deflection off a defender and Opoku was able to stretch out a leg to toe-poke the ball again into the net. The advantage was to be quickly doubled with a goal of the game, as after an Enin attack on the right hand had led to a corner, Jemiah Plenty Lawrence's ball to the edge of the penalty area, where Sivo Bao met it first time on the half volley to the fire past the keeper. Enfield were threatening to run riot as two rapidly became 3 when Taji Kennedy netted from an acute angle after the ball squirmed loose from the keeper's grasp after he'd slid out to try and collect a through pass. A frantic spell of 4 goals in 7 minutes was concluded when Opoku netted his second, heading home a Bruno Tavares cross. With the game effectively won inside the opening 20 minutes, Enfield's intensity dropped. But the visitors did score their 5th shortly before the interval when Tavares outpaced his marker to reach a through ball and cut it back for Kennedy, who scored via the head of a defender on the line. Marvin Walker's men scored what was to be their final goal 4 minutes after the restart when Enin headed home Plenty Lawrence's flighted free kick. Some of the gloss was taken off the win when Opoku was sent off in the 70th minute for an elbow, and 3 minutes later St Neots scored their consolation from a penalty, following some slack play from the visitors and a lunging challenge from Alfie Hatch.
Ignatians fall to superior finishing qualities. Enfield Ignatians played some good rugby in parts, but against the more cohesive Chiswick, more was required, and the visiting Blue and Golds paid for it after suffering a 44-10 away defeat on Saturday. Ignatians played their best rugby in the first half of the London 2 North West clash and responded in the best possible fashion to Chiswick's opening try. Luke Stack was the catalyst, and from the ensuing penalty, Ignatians deferred to the catch and drive at the line-out to take play close to the Chiswick line. After a series of probes, the dam eventually burst after flanker Frank Antwi forced his way over in spectacular fashion. Although Chiswick edged ahead via a penalty, Ignatians traded on equal terms for most of the first half an hour. Although the visitors threatened the host's line, they lacked composure and consequently the opportunity passed them by. However, Chiswick always had the finishing qualities which Ignatians lacked, and in a 15-minute spell before half-time, they hit their stride and ran in 3 further tries, including one from a turnover ball, to lead 25-5 at the break. Ignatians struggled to get on the front foot in the second period, and although they conceded a further 3 tries, they beavered away manfully in defence, with Keir Bonner leading by example and unleashing some good tackles which helped keep Chiswick at bay. The visitors escaped their shackles in the dying minutes, and Ignatians, who never stopped trying, at least started to play some front foot rugby again. They were rewarded after sweeping the ball wide to the right wing, where Erin Dottin-Wilson did well to squeeze in at the corner.
Towners' tie on after water supply issue is resolved. Enfield Town were preparing to entertain Hampton and Richmond in the Middlesex Senior Cup at a time of going to press after water supply issue to the Queen Elizabeth Stadium was resolved. The Towners were forced to postpone Saturday's match against Tunbridge Angels on health and safety grounds after discovering there was no mains water supply to the stadium on Friday. The club believed the problem was caused by a valve being shut off in the grounds of Enfield playing fields. Apart from stopping the water supply, the knock-on effect was that the supply had to be repumped to the various water outlets within the stadium to reinstate adequate mains pressure, the club added on their website. Last night, time may have seen striker Elliot Benyon make his town debut after joining on a month's loan from Wellstone at the end of last week. Andy Lee's side are without a game on Saturday but are due to travel to Cheshunt in the Velocity Trophy on Tuesday in a 7:45 p.m. kick-off.
And now we have some letters. This one is from Councillor Crystal Fonyonga, who has particular responsibilities for community safety and public health. Police should have our full support. And she writes, I'm writing to reiterate the view that the Conservative government is entirely responsible for proposals to close Enfield Police Station and retain Edmonton Green Police Station as the only one in the borough. Enfield Council's official view is that the government should not be reducing funding to the Metropolitan Police. They should have our full support and the resources they need to keep our communities safe. Our colleagues in the Conservative group, who are decrying cuts to policing in Enfield, actually voted against an Enfield Council motion calling for the council to write to the Home Secretary asking for increased funding for the police and additional resources. Consequently, the council's Labour administration funded 16 police officers to cover the shortfall created by this government's reckless spending plans. Our administration continues to campaign tirelessly for more police officers for Enfield, and despite government cuts to council finances, continues to pay for additional officers to support the police to keep our communities safe. To avoid this situation and police station closures, the government should fund the Metropolitan Police properly. It's not possible to protect the public on the cheap, as some may think it's magically possible, and we face difficult times with the increase in terrorism. But we recognise the need for additional police resources, even if Tory councillors would prefer to spend time moaning about the impact their own government's policies have on our borough.
And this letter is entitled You Brighten Up Our Day. The national news is so dreadful, and the local papers are so full of the not-so-nice members of our community, so let's celebrate some of the good ones and redress the balance a little. Jean and I would like to thank Brian and Jason, the owners of My Time, a speciality cake, coffee and tea house, but with a lot more, in Green Lanes, Palmer's Green High Street. I moved to Palmer's Green last year, and being recently widowed, making new friends in a new area seemed a daunting prospect. I needn't have worried, as on my first walk into Green Lanes I bought a newspaper and decided to treat myself to a coffee and cake. My Time looked bright, interesting and welcoming, so in I went. Brian, one of the owners, took my order and stopped to chat. The coffee and cake were delicious. The next time I went, I met Brian's wife and learnt more about the cafe. Jean met a friend at the local Slimming World who recommended My Time, and this is how we met. Brian and Jason source local produce wherever possible, so put back into the local economy and try to support local craft industries. They sell locally baked cakes, local honey, gluten-free, vegetarian and vegan foods. Food is cooked to order to be served in the cafe or as takeaway. The coffee and premium teas are wonderful and are organic and sourced from independent estates around the world, direct trading to get those farmers the best prices. Recently, My Time had an alcohol licence granted, so shortly the cafe will be open in the evenings too. They will sell quality craft ales and lagers, along with gin from Enfield, and organic wines and other alcohol drinks, and soft drinks will be available with a bar menu. Brian and Jason help the community by allowing artists who don't have a shop front of their own to display their work free of charge. There are paintings and ceramics. Recent artwork has been of David Bowie, in the style of Russian dolls. There are also handmade greetings cards and sometimes a pop-up jewellery shop. Local musicians are given space some weekends, so increasing their profile and providing entertainment for the customers. Local people can display their business cards, and people organising local events can display their leaflets. They even give time and space to Palmer's Green Business Network, a local independent business networking group, once a month. Brian and Jason are also a great source of local information and can point us in the direction of local tradesmen, therefore generating more money in the local community. Jean and I have gradually made a whole lot of new friends in My Time. We are a mixed bunch, different ages, nationalities, employed or retired. It is lovely, as none of us ever needs to be lonely. There's always at least one of our group either having a meal or drinking coffee. There's even a loyalty card. Buy 5 coffees, get 1 free, so the cards are soon full. We swap stories. Some of us remember the war and the swinging 60s, so can share stories of that time and compare life now by listening to the younger ones and see how times have changed. We also meet socially sometimes away from the cafe. My Time has a relaxed atmosphere with a retro 1970s interior. There are books and vinyl records on display and music of the 60s onwards. There's also a selection of children's books, so everyone is really welcome. You couldn't wish for a better place or people to spend time with. So thank you, Brian and Jason. The community is a better place because of people like you. And that's from Mary Boast and Jean Gold from Alderman's Hill, Palmer's Green.
Thanks to the staff. I would like through your newspaper to express my sincere appreciation for the excellent service that I have received in the past few months at Chase Farm Hospital. Everyone I have had dealing with have been exceptionally kind and caring. Nothing has been too much trouble for any of the staff. My particular thanks to Nurse Sue Ballock, the urology specialist, who has been so meticulous and superb in every way and makes you feel instantly at ease. This is from John Viscuson, Chalkwell Park Avenue, Enfield.
And finally, another letter was a satisfied reader. Dave Osborne of Carnarvon Avenue, Enfield. Keep up the good work. Last Saturday, it was my great pleasure to attend the annual Autumn Bazaar at Lancaster Road. I would like to say a big thank you to all concerned. I really enjoyed myself, and it was so nice to see all the great stalls and people all united in raising funds for the Guides, Brownies, Boys Brigade, all of the fantastic causes. It brought back memories for me too, as I was a member of the Enfield Boys Brigade in that very hall. So to be able to go and support the bazaar was lovely. Well done to all concerned. Thank you, and keep up the great work. It's nice to finish on a positive note. And, well, that is it. We have reached the end of our programme for this week. So thank you for listening. And from the team of Kathryn, Marina, me, Patricia, and Dem on the controls, it's goodbye.
Bye.
Now, please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position, and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget, you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. And the Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.